Hello and welcome back to the next Nostalgia Gate video. Today is a little bit different. I wanted to try something which I wanted to try a new little style, right? I want to do a top 10 list, which isn't new by any means, but new for the channel. And what I want this list to be about is my top 10 things I'm excited about for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which you've probably already seen because you clicked on the damn video. But here we are. We'll be going backwards from my least anticipated feature or thing or whatever about the game to my most anticipated aspect of the new title. Now, keep in mind, I am very, very excited about this title. I've been looking forward to it since 2020, but since even before that, right? Because I first actually only played the original Final Fantasy VII in 2016, which wasn't that long ago, if I'm being honest, if I'm being frank. But yeah, I got into it, was enthralled in the world. The whole concept of the game kind of deals with loss, if you don't know, and that's the whole concept of the whole world's built around that. And it's a very interesting concept. And anyway, so just diving into the video, my number 10 is the extensive side content. Now, what I mean by this is, if you have not seen the previews, I'll be putting them on screen now. The side content in this game is expansive. Considering the first Final Fantasy VII game, that being Remake, came out in 2020, it was a very linear style game. There was no open world elements whatsoever besides the transitioning between Sector 5 slums, Sector 6 slums, Sector 7 slums, and the War Market area, and I think that's in Sector 6, and yeah, okay, you can count that as, the open world of the game, but that's about as far as it went. It wasn't really open, it was more of a long linear hallway, and you could tell that by the way it was designed. However, that did honestly feel quite cool, and the fact that you visited all those areas one by one, and then you were able to go through all of them by Chapter 14. However, this game is very different. It's got an open style world. It's not quite open world by what we're hearing, but it is very open, massive open zones. Seems bigger than Final Fantasy XVI, which is a very interesting approach. Final Fantasy VII has got a lot to offer though. If you look at the original game, there is a big 3-continent tiered world with lots of vastly different areas, and with lots of villages and things like that that could definitely be expanded, and some have been expanded in things like the prequel Crisis Core, and Advent Children, I think, had a new location. I can't quite remember now. But here we are today, and we actually have a fully open zone world, which is amazing, right? But with this comes expansive side content. Now, you've got sort of, classic side quest stuff, apparently, which seems to be the same as the original game. But if you look at some of these shots, we have insane new-looking waypoints on the waypoint system. We'll get to some of that stuff later. And every area seems to be kind of in a district, kind of like, I don't know, Spider-Man with Spider-Man 2 on PS5, right? It seems to be the whole world's put into different districts, and these districts have all these different side things you can do. And it looks like you can really just hop in and get distracted for hours and hours, and that is beyond my expectations. At number 9, we are looking at skill trees and upgrade systems. Now, right, whatever, these are nothing, every game has skill trees and upgrade systems, sure, I hear you, but it does seem that this is going a bit further beyond what was expected. The first Final Fantasy game, Remake, had literally just little nodes that you unlocked, and they cost certain things called SP, special points that you get. However, this game seems to has this whole sort of upgrade system that allows you to sort of make the character your own sort of gameplay style. The skill tree we haven't seen too much of, but if I've got the video playing in the background and I just wanted to have a reference here, but the skill tree does seem to allow you to vastly upgrade your character. Keep in mind, I don't think we've seen a lot of this yet, but what we have seen are tidbits alluding to skill tree stuff, and variables and values that characters have. But yeah, it seems like every character has these little nodes you can unlock, and these nodes allow you to upgrade your system, your character into a kind of making it your own sort of gameplay style. And what's important about this is Final Fantasy VII has a materia system, if you don't know, all the way back from the original, and in every subsequent entry. Your magic is based on these little plug-in balls, right? You can put in your character, and they've got slots, and you can really change what kind of thing your character does, right? So your character isn't, for lack of a better word, stuck with certain jobs, right? You don't have to have a primary healer. In fact, I think the only character in all the versions of 7 is Aras, who is primarily a healer because she's got insane magic points. But even in Remake, they kind of change this up as she does have insane magic points, but you could use that as a offensive way, and using level 1 magic and getting insane damage off that, right? So in an offensive manner or a defensive manner, and so this sort of kind of leans into that build on top of the old system and allows you to sort of make the character your own. It's I guess it's a numbers game, changing the numbers up how you would like to, because Final Fantasy VII and Remake and Rebirth, I guess, all have these stats. The standard RPG stats: attack, magic, magic defense, attack defense, and all that, vitality, speed. But yeah, this will allow you to really toggle those for what I believe is the first time, besides little accessories and things like that, that you can really modify these numbers. So that does sound pretty exciting. As well as that, the weapon upgrade system seems way increased. The weapon upgrade system was actually what I was talking about. That was in Remake. There was no character upgrade system, but the weapon remake system, had little nodes you could upgrade. And in this game, it seems like you can go even further with that as well. Again, we haven't seen too much of this, but we have seen strings and menus alluding to that in demos that people have played at TGS, and we should be seeing, I'm assuming, more of this before the game comes out, and probably in the next couple of weeks leading into the Game Awards, so I'm pretty excited to see what happens there. Number 8, I am very excited for the new synergy attack system and the various battle system improvements. Wow, I have not been expecting what I saw. The main new addition, I guess, mechanic, right, and Rebirth is the synergy attacks, allowing characters that are in your party, and by what I hear, maybe outside of your party as well, but primarily the ones that are in your party, as far as we can tell, and have been showcased so far, can attack alongside you. So what I mean by that is you have this special new bars down the bottom of your screen, and they fill up, I believe, by using your ATB. So I think it works that you use your ATB, which is the old standard system, and you get these points, and when you get these points, the other characters get these points too when they use their ATB. You can use these synergy points, I think they're called, to make a attack with a really powerful move together. Every character's got their combination of moves, alluding to their abilities. Obviously, Aras, for example, is the obvious one to pick on because she has her casting thing, so she can do all sorts of magic. One I remember is Aras, using her magic abilities to, light up Cloud's sword with fire or something, and then they're able to attack with that attack together and get those damage points, right? And the cool thing about this being tied to the back of the ATB system is that you're not just standing around waiting for your ATB to fill anymore, and that wasn't really something that I just finished with Remake and Hard Mode, right? And by that point, I wasn't really, waiting around so much more. I kind of knew at that point, I guess, the mechanics of the game to fill up the ATB fast. Use Tifa's Star Shower, or I'm forgetting the name of it now, but she's got another move where she can power up and hit an enemy, and that will fill up their ATB faster. So I kind of knew that stuff, but at this point, there's no more waiting around or abusing these systems to get ATB anymore. You can attack with these other points that allow you to keep the flow of gameplay going, so that's looking really good. The other battle system improvements seem to be things such as aerial attacks. Now, every character seems to have an aerial attack and, in some cases, a jump ability. But the aerial attack thing is very important. The biggest drawback from the Remake's battle system was definitely the fact that a lot of enemies that were flying above you, you required Barret in your party to attack, and now it seems like you've got a bunch more options when it comes to that sort of enemy. Other than that, it just looks very fluid. It looks like it's there's no stopping anymore, there's no waiting, like I said, and everything seems to just sort of flow. And we have all new materials to play around with, but we'll get into that when I get to that technical list, which is coming. So number 6 is World Exploration, Chocobos, and Hunts. Now, hunts are actually part of the side quest system, I believe, but what's cool about that is, like Final Fantasy 16, for example, if you played that this year, they had a bunch of side quest hunts where you would have a board, like this game does as well, and it would start a hunt quest where you go find a monster to hunt, you know, kind of Monster Hunter style, I guess. I haven't played those games, but I've watched a lot of people play those. And you know, you go find a rank of an enemy, it can be rank C, B, A, S, and you find that special monster and you get rewards for it, guild, magic, material, whatever. You get, you know, trophies, I guess, as well, right? So all sorts of cool stuff. And yeah, that looks really dope. The fact that coupled with the new open style world does seem to be adding a lot to the gameplay experience. I'm very excited to see how this actually all works together. Beyond that though, I'm more excited about the world exploration itself. Now it seems that you can ride along on chocobos in very versatile ways. In the trailer we see everyone on the party, and out of your party, everybody in the team, I guess, riding on chocobos over what looks like the great, like, landscapes of Cosmic Canyon, kind of Grand Canyon style, right? And that, like, we've seen that in the end of the original game, the start of, children, Red 13 running past those big mountains areas. Seems like we get to explore all that. It's pretty cool. It seems like we can get very far with chocobos. You can go in the water, do all sorts of things. And the world exploration itself looks really cool too. The fact that you kind of see something in the distance, you go swim to it, you know, that's nothing new for some games, but I don't think that Final Fantasy has really done the water swimming thing to just in an open zone area anyway. And the expansiveness of the world, so the fact that I can just sort of be running along, doing my own thing with the story, and then eventually I can slow down to sort of just get distracted by the world in a Breath of the Wild-esque way, I suppose. I don't think it's quite going that hard, but it's definitely cool to see, you know, a game such as Final Fantasy VII going as hard as it is going in Rebirth. Yes, I'm very excited for the world exploration. It's probably one of the things I'm looking forward to the most now. It's definitely number 6 on my list, to be honest, considering all the other great stuff that's in the world and the game, but I'm just, like, I can already see myself getting distracted by this and spending a lot of time just running around, a lot of sessions, you know, running around the world and doing nothing that much at all. And just taking it and enjoying it, which kind of scares me in some ways, because I do want to play the game for what I initially wanted, which was the story beats and things like that. But yeah, I am excited about this, and I want to see how this goes. Number 5 is definitely the new materia, the old materia, the materia improvements, and the new summons. So there seems to be a plethora of new materia types, like unique materia ability, which is the purple one. I don't know what that would be, but that looks pretty cool. The cool, notable thing is some of the magic materials, the green ones are being put together, so you've got fire and ice materia, which is, you know, doesn't just sound like a World of Ice and Fire reference, but it's actually like fire and ice put together, right? And what's cool about that, if you're uninitiated, I guess, is that that takes up 1 materia slot instead of 2. That's very useful because materia slots are, you know, needed in Remake. By the end of the game, you're kind of weighing up between some MP ups, some HP ups, and then your actual offensive abilities such as fire or ice, and some bosses use one or the other. So it seems to be, you know, catering to that audience and me as well, you know, that want to just sort of use everything at their disposal. Which I think on the counter side of that is that enemies look like they're tougher from the get-go. You start the game and everything in the world's a bit tougher, so you sort of just have to adapt to the new system. But I think, you know, you're given enough resources at this point to do so. If you're getting fire and ice, that means, you know, something that's enemy that's immune to ice will still get attacked by that materia, and it uses less ATB to use both, and, you know, it's taking those concessions, isn't it? So I think it's, the more you think about it, the more amazing that is. The new materials, we've been promised all kinds of new types of materia, which is just exciting to have new stuff to look forward to. And we're getting summons that have never been in Final Fantasy VII universe before, as well as some that have. I don't think we're going to quite get to Knights of the Round or anything, you know, it's probably the third part, but it does seem like we're getting some cool new summons, and I'm excited to see that as well. And apparently if you've got a Final Fantasy VII Remake save, you get Bahamut for free at the start of the game, as well as another summon, but I'm forgetting which one at the moment. Number 4, I'm looking forward to the Queen of Cards and other minigames to master. So, in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and in plenty of other Final Fantasy games before it, we have had a set of minigames to play. In Final Fantasy VII Original, we had the Golden Saucer, which was a really interesting, just place to play around in with, you know, different sorts of minigames, the basketball, the roller coaster, which I don't know if that's coming back, the G-Bike minigame, all sorts of things, the boxing one. It was a very big change of pace for the game. It was just this quirky little fun area. But now we're getting those and more, like the Queen of Cards, which looks very similar to Terra Master from Final Fantasy VIII and 14. But, you know, it's got its own Final Fantasy VII spins, that means you get to put cards in the world and stuff like that. We've got a new whole set of Moogle minigames, which we haven't seen much about. There's a G-Bike minigame, there's, you know, there's all sorts of minigames. We've seen at this point that there's the boxing one as well, and that has the old Final Fantasy VII models from back in the day in it, so that looks really cool. Yeah, so I'm just looking forward to some of the things to get us distracted as well, which there seems to be a ton of those things in Final Fantasy Rebirth. Number 3 is this used to be my most anticipated thing, but coming in at number 3 now is story developments. As we were promised, the unknown journey continues in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and you know, this is the thing that's been holding everyone over since, you know, for 3 years now, nearly 4 years by the time this game comes out, right? We've been curious to how this new plot line's going to go, what is Zack's importance in it. Are there new characters coming back? Are there old characters coming back? Are there new characters being introduced? Is the fact that Destiny is being kind of messed with going to allude to a better outcome or a more favourable outcome for our characters, who by the end of the original game definitely got the worst outcome, but yeah, I mean, but the world got the best outcome, right? So, because the thing about Final Fantasy VII World is it's a character in itself, you know, such as Harry Potter's got Hogwarts as its a character, right? This is the same kind of thing, right? The world's its own sort of character, and it's got a very big plot ingrained in the universe itself. And so it's an interesting little, you know, thing to keep us going. Plus there's also the original antagonist who's in the game doing the original stuff, so we're kind of intrigued to see how that's going to happen, and how much of the new versus old stuff, because it seems to be we're still doing the same stuff, but there's also new stuff. How does the order play out? What happens? What's the little, you know, the big thing at the end of the game everyone's looking forward to? How does that play out? And there seems to be allusions to things shocking us and thinking that people they're gonna get mad at things. And I don't want to speculate, but I'm still very, very excited for that. My interest was peaked a while back, and I'm just way up here now and way past that point, and I just want to play the damn thing. Number 2, coming in at number 2, and this just beats the last one, not by much, but I am very excited for the world reports. So this is a new side thing that we talked about a little bit in another point. Some of these points do sort of correlate and interlace with each other, I suppose. The world reports are kind of like the district system I was talking about before, so every part of the world seems to be split into little districts. You got Junon region, for example, I've seen that. And it seems like you're being judged by how much, you know, how well, how quick, how many enemies you've taken down, certain tasks inside taking them down in the battles and stuff. You get to replay them, you get ranked, and the world reports, you discover stuff, you know, and it goes into your log of things, and yeah, it just seems to be like that one, like, I can see myself logging in for the day after work or something, being very excited about the story and just getting distracted for an hour about, you know, this stuff, and, you know, ticking stuff on my list. It doesn't sound that fun in theory, but I think when you look at the gameplay and you think about it in the shoes of, like, you put yourself in the shoes of, like, of playing Remake for the first time, right? You come home, you sort of sit down, you you're like, okay, we're going to get this section done today. It's that, and it's also this stuff, other things in the world, and you take yourself back to actually playing the original game, and you're wishing for this kind of stuff to do in between going to place, right? And I know it's PS1 game, so like we're asking a bit much for that, but yeah, I'm very excited for this because it's kind of everything I've wanted from the world of 7, right? So yeah, this is why this sort of just beats the last thing, because I think I'm going to be doing a lot more of that stuff, and I think I'm going to be spending a lot of my sessions, you know, doing that. I think we're all going to have to come to terms with, you know, wanting to get through the story and probably getting distracted by all this stuff, right? I think that's sort of the idea of this game, the design philosophy, and I think that's what a lot of us are going to spend our time doing, is these world reports, so I'm very excited to see how that goes. And it looks fun. I'm just hoping it holds up to as anticipated as I am about it. I mean, I don't think the marketing would be pushing this feature so hard if it wasn't such a big ingrained part of the game and such a big expectation for people to play it. Coming in at number 1, my most anticipated thing in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the open world zone gameplay. Now, we've sort of covered this, right? Except this is sort of a dumb point, to be honest. I'm trying to like make this point without the other points, right? So take out the world reports, take out the side content. I'm literally just talking about like scaling the world from one end to the other, right? Which is something I'm totally doing. I'm one of those weird people, you know, running from one end of Skyrim to the other. But no, what I like about this is you've got this new climbing feature, so you can scale mountains. Anything that's just near you, you kind of jump up to it, you can kind of scale it, which is something we had not seen in Fantasy before, to my understanding. And so when I saw it in Rebirth, I went, wow, there are so many areas in the original game that I want to be able to do that in, right? And now I get to do that, and it's going to be so much fun to just sort of mess around in the world. I'm just literally talking about just dilly-dallying, just running around, jumping up stuff. I'm not even talking about the battles, I'm just literally, like, there'll be times I'll be running away from them just to go explore things, and this is sort of the missing element, right? Like, the battles have always been fun in Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy games, and the exploration's always been fun, and the world reports have always been fun, and the minigames have always been fun, but in 16, for example, I just wanted a reason to literally do this and just walk around. This is all I was asking for, and this is why I'm so excited for it, because there are going to be moments where I just want to swim to that island and I just want to grab, and I get rewarded for it, right? Like the player's curiosity. We've seen that when you swim to those islands in the distance that you don't have to go to, you do get like a treasure chest or something, and I know this isn't much for people who play Zelda, you know, games like Genshin Impact and things like that, but like, this is new and kind of groundbreaking for this game genre, for like the Final Fantasy series, and maybe even just the sort of single-player RPGs as a whole, right? I don't want to make that claim completely, but this isn't a gacha game. There's nothing that you have to buy inside of it. There's nothing, the game's not asking you to level up these things very slowly. It's literally, it's an RPG single-player experience that rewards you for all this extra crazy exploration, which is just, I think it's sort of going to be setting a new standard, and I don't want to be the guy sitting here like pushing your expectations way high or anything, but I think everyone's already kind of gone a bit crazy with this marketing, because the marketing's really good, right? The marketing is showing this stuff off, and people have been playing the game and the demos and stuff, and people on this YouTube site and others and elsewhere have been pushing how cool this element is, and it does look really cool. I'm very excited to play it, and you know for sure that as soon as we get a demo release, we'll be playing it here on the channel to make sure it holds up to those expectations that I am already daydreaming about every day. So that is my list. That is everything I am excited for in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I hope you enjoyed. It is, I think, 97 days now till the game comes out, which is incredibly... it's incredible to think that we're less than 100 days away. Like, 3-4 months ago we didn't even know that, so it's just been going really quickly. February 29th is coming very shortly. I think before we know it, it will be here, and gotta watch the space for all the exciting announcements in between, right? So yeah, very excited. Hope you enjoyed. If you enjoy this content and more, there's plenty of stuff, and about a new video every 2 weeks or so on the channel. We cover all sorts of things, and we're going to be covering a lot of Final Fantasy VII, so please like, share, and subscribe if you're into that sort of thing. And yeah, that's my list for today. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next one. Ape out.